One of the challenges that you're going to sometimes face, especially if you're a minority in many work environments, is you're going to face the people who are going to, as a default, they're going to assume that you're ignorant, that you don't know what you're talking about. And sometimes they're going to just knee jerk argue with you, even when you're making an obvious point, even when you're making a point backed by facts, even when you're making a point that's backed by really just irrefutable logic, they're going to argue with you. Sometimes they do it to test you, to see if they can get a reaction out of you, to see if they can provoke you into doing something. And sometimes they just think that they're smarter than you. That even when you're making a point that's completely obvious, backed by facts, backed by logic, that they can still find a way to argue with you, and they can still find a way to win that argument with you, even when you have logic and facts on your side. They assume that no matter how good you are, that they are just inherently better than you. And these are things that you have to learn to combat in the workplace. And the good people in the workplace, when they see it, they have to learn to combat this. When people see it in social settings, they have to learn to push back on this, to push back on your friends, to push back on your acquaintances, and to push back on your enemies when they assume that they're inherently smarter than people from a different group. It's our collective responsibility to push back and to make sure that people understand that individuals are to be judged on their individual merits based on getting to know them. But that's not always the case with many people. For some people, it's going to be a situation where they're going to look at you and assume that they're just inherently smarter than you. And even when you make a great point, they're going to go to other people like them and look for their point to be validated so they can find a way to combat what you said. When they come to you for your quote unquote expertise, they're a lot of times hoping that you're going to validate something that they're already thinking. And when you don't validate what they're already thinking, many times they'll become frustrated. They'll become frustrated that you, who are not as smart as they are, don't inherently just agree with them. And then worse still, when you have facts and logic to back up your perspective, they're largely going to ignore that, and they're going to look for ways, even the smallest loophole, that's going to validate what they believed coming into the conversation, coming into the difference of opinion or the debate, however you want to characterize it. So it's really important that you maintain your composure, that you stick to the facts, that you stick to logic, and you let them spin their wheels if that's what they feel like they have to do. You let them feel like a big shot. You let them feel like the only way that they can stand tall is if they're standing on your back, on your neck, on your helmet. Some people just need to feel that way. They just need to feel superior to you. But if you have the moral high ground, the ethical high ground, the logical high ground, and it's backed by facts, in the end, you're going to come out the winner. Especially if they can't rattle you like they're sometimes trying to do.